So I'm here today with Jenni. Jenni, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast today. Jenni, unfortunately, had her drink spiked. I'm going to sort of question a few little parts of that in a minute. But Jenni, could you first start by telling us when it was, how long ago it was, and a little bit of what happened to you, please?
Yeah. So when I was first spiked, it was a week after my 18th birthday. And so excited to go time, and we'd actually went to one of my other friends' birthdays. I'm now 22, so it was 4 years ago. And we'd went to a local bar, not in Belfast. So I kind of felt like it was a safer place to be because it wasn't, out in big bad Belfast. It was close to home, and my mum knew where I was and all that. And I remember having a fishbowl drink, like a jug, and I remember holding it and dancing with it. And I drank most of it and I set it down because I started to feel really warm, really flustered, quite panicky in the heart. My heart was racing like out of my chest, going nuts. And I remember just everything spinning around me. And at this time, all my friends were in this nightclub and everyone was there, but I'd ended up by myself at some point. And at some point from when I was left by myself to waking up in the nightclub chairs by myself when the lights were on in the nightclub at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd wet myself, unfortunately, in between that time. And a girl I'm not that close with from school had came over and shook me. And I just had lifted up. My makeup was everywhere, all over my face. My eyelashes had all came off, and she'd asked me, it was like, where's your boyfriend? Where's your friends? And I ended up set outside, and my boyfriend, my friends all were like rallied around me, and everybody said they'd not seen me for the past 2 hours. So in between those 2 hours, I have no clue where I was, who I was with, or what had happened, but I'd been dumped on a nightclub chair by myself while I'd wet myself. So that was kind of my first ever experience of spiking. It was awful as an 18-year-old, kind of getting out to the world, and then this happened, and I was so disgusted.
And so this, as you explained to me, this has actually happened to you on another occasion. So do you mind explaining to me the situation of the second time this happened to you?
Yes, so the second time I was actually in my first year of university, and I was out for St. Paddy's Day, and I was on placement. I hadn't been out for about 2 months at this stage, and I was in the bar about 25 minutes, and then I was lifted out of the bar by the bouncers through to the side of the street and abandoned. And again, the whole situation of feeling warm and flustered, and I knew instantly something was right. And trying my friend, not okay. And we were outside anyway. We were in a smoking area when I started to feel like this, so I should have been cold. It was February time, and yeah, once the bouncer had seen me kind of stumble and fall and stuff like that, I was lifted aside and just started at the side of the road. And I was so ill and I was throwing up and my mouth was foaming that my friends didn't have a clue what to do, and they'd phoned the police. And I was adamant about not going to hospital. I was so scared of getting in trouble. I wanted to be a primary school teacher myself, and somehow in my head I thought that if I'd went to the hospital about being spiked, it would somehow come back on me as a teacher. And obviously I wasn't not in the right state of mind, and I was crying to the police. So the only thing that they could do was put me in the back of a police van and drive up to my university halls, where again I was left at the bottom of my halls, and I had to walk up with my boyfriend and another friend. And I think the scariest thing about that is my halls knew I'd been spiked. I was completely incapacitated. My boyfriend and my friend were carrying me up the halls, and they'd asked them saying, is she okay? What's going on? And they'd mentioned that I was spiked and this was my friend, but no one checked anything. They just let this random guy who I hadn't signed in, he had no ID on him, take me back to my halls. Now, thankfully for me, it was my boyfriend, and I've always been very lucky and I've been looked after by my friends, but that's not the case for everybody. And I
really
felt
not.
so let down. No, I felt let down by the bouncers on that occasion, by the police on that occasion, and by my university on that occasion. And
That is. So do you think this is because this is a lack of education?
yeah, massively. I definitely should have been in the hospital that night. I lost 2 teeth at the back of my mouth from grinding and chipping away. If you actually look at the back of my mouth, I'm missing teeth. And I'd cut the hole, I'd lacerations inside my mouth up to here. I had to go to the dentist and everything. And I was so petrified of someone using this against me. I was a victim, and it being flipped around on me about maybe something to do with drugs or anything like that, that I actually let myself be discarded at the side of the road when I should have, pressed to go to the hospital. I should have probably been looked at. I probably needed my stomach pumped, to be honest. I was throwing up, like bile, foam, everything. And there was 3 different people that let me down that night and just really discarded me.
Oh, Jenni, I'm so sorry to hear that. I really am. And to be honest with you, this isn't the first time that I've heard this. And I'm just like, this is why we're fighting to get the education. We believe that, venue owners, bar staff, security staff, they all need to be upskilled on the symptoms of this crime, because it's totally different, isn't it, than being drunk, than having your drink spiked.
Oh my goodness, massively. Like I'm a university student. I love going out. I'm a very sociable girl, but I've never felt anything like that in my life. And I was trying to fight against it in my own body, and I knew something wasn't right. But my body gave in. I mean, I crumpled. I had to be lifted. I was just all elbows and knees. Like there was no, like I couldn't even keep my own head up while I was throwing up. It was all over me. All my clothes had to be, like, they were covered in cuts and blood. They were covered in urine, and they were covered in sick. All of them had to be binned.
That is just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why Jenni and I are making this podcast today is we just had a little meeting, and Jenni has now decided to become our ambassador for Belfast. And I can't think of a better role model, Jenni, than someone who's training to be a primary school teacher. That you've obviously are a caring soul, and and teaching is in my blood, because I know that that's the way, education is the way forward. So first of all, I'm so sorry to hear that this disgusting crime has happened to you. Secondly, I'm over the moon that we got such a great role model, and to have someone in Belfast that's fighting this cause. And I'd just like to say thank you to Sinead, really, from Informed Minds, because if it wasn't for Sinead, then I would probably never have met you.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was such a good opportunity, and they ran it so well as well. That Informed Minds thing, it was absolutely great.
It was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. And I just, I'm sorry to everyone who's listening for the couple of glitches. That's not Jenni and I, that's the gremlins in the computers.
Oh,
So, yeah, those gremlins, them damn gremlins. But Jenni, I will be getting in contact with you. We'll be sending you over all the information to get you set up, and we'll be here to help you along the way. We'd love to get the Queen's University involved over in your neck of the woods, to see what we can do to help. We know that freshers every year are put into complete danger in every city across the UK, which is something we really need to work on. And yeah, I'm just over the moon that you're going to be joining us on our mission to stamp out spiking. And I'm going to leave with last words from you. What do you think about this situation?
I think that the awareness with it now, what we have, is amazing. And I love to see that nightclubs and things like that are becoming more aware, but there definitely needs to be more education, especially for young girls. Like, we're so vulnerable in a night out anyway. This is just, spiking makes us so much more vulnerable.
Thank you, Jenni.
No worries. Thank you.